Boo! All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to another little mini check-in, I guess, mini episode. This is one of your favorite Forcefedscifi co-hosts, Sean Michael Culp, and along with me is one of my favorite other Forcefedscifi co-hosts.
I am the Jolly Holly, Chris Rupp.
The Jolly Holly. I love it. I guess I'm the Cult Fiction. There we go, if we're going to go off of nicknames.
There we go.
So, I'm sure, you're like, what is going on? Why is there this random Christmas check-in? And so, I'll let Chris take the lead. You hit me up about this. You wanted to do a little Christmas check-in, right?
Yeah, I figured it would just be fun to have a brief 20, 25-minute check-in about... just some of our favorite Christmas movies that we like to watch every season. Either ones that just hit right in the feels every time, or just ones that are always fun to watch. So I thought it'd be a good time with Christmas impending to just revisit some movies we don't get a chance to typically talk about in the main feed of the podcast.
Yeah, I like that. That's that's cool, man. Because sometimes we want to take a break from only sci-fi. So, with no further ado, I'll let you start off. What are some of your favorite Christmas movies, Chris, that you tend to snuggle up on the couch during the holiday season and enjoy?
I've come around more towards this movie as I've gotten older. I know a lot of people were huge fans of it when it came out, and now that I have it and have been watching it more consistently, I love it, and it is Home Alone. I love Home Alone. I identify hard sometimes with the fact that you have Kevin McCallister at the very beginning of the movie when he realizes his family's left him home alone. I made my family disappear. Sometimes you're just like, as an adult and you have a difficult family, you're just like, yeah, that's kind of the dream sometimes, where you have maybe not a full 3 days to yourself, but even just an afternoon, my God.
All right, get that nice break. Because it's like, oh, God, can you guys just leave?
Yeah, and it's great to see Kevin do all of these fun things that he gets to do without his family. Like, he watches junk and eats junk and is watching garbage. He orders a pizza all to himself. Goes shopping and asks the clerk all kinds of terrible questions. And then he gets to know his neighbor. The whole time his brother was just setting him up to be this serial killer who puts his victims in a salt tub. But then he finds out, Old Man Marley. It turns out his brother was lying to him, telling him he's a South Side shovel slayer or something, and then find out he's a sweet old man who has family problems of his own and is just trying to reconnect with them over the holidays. And of course, where else? It doesn't get much funnier than watching Harry and Marv try to break into the house, and of course Kevin's just turning it into an absolute death trap.
Isn't Joe Pesci in this movie?
Yeah, he plays he's Harry, the main guy, and then I think God, what's the other guy's name? It's gonna bug the crap out of me. Daniel Stern, he's Marv, the other half of the Wet Bandits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen that film in so long. I'm going to be honest, because growing up, I always saw it in the malls or on TV, we would always flick through it. But it was nowadays I look back and laugh, but my parents, so I grew up very sheltered, and my parents were like, this young man's going to cause a ruckus on this house and he's going to beat the crap out of his brothers. So they actually didn't really let us watch that film. So I didn't see it until I was probably in high school when they were playing it. And that film's always great, man. From at least what I can recall. Is this the one where he's dumping cans of paint and hitting people with them?
Yeah. So yeah, he throws the cans of paints and hit him in the face. He has the fire that burns up Joe Pesci's head. Puts the spider on Daniel Stern's face.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I always, this video always comes up every holiday season, but I think there was like this team of scientists that recreated Kevin's death house, and just
Okay.
to see like how it would, like, would these things like throwing a paint can in someone's face or stepping on ornaments or a nail or having an iron hit you in the face, would like what kind of damage it would do. And
Yeah.
it turns out like, well, Marv would have been dead in the basement, and Harry would have had like third-degree burns just all over his body. So Kevin would have gone to juvenile hall for manslaughter.
Without a doubt. That could be like almost an amusement park ride, like a Ninja Warrior competition. If you can survive the death house, you win it all. You win all the money.
I'd want to see like a Nightmare Before Christmas mashup style with it, where it's a haunted house, but it's the Home Alone house where you have to survive all of the death traps.
That'd be lit. Well, that's a cool choice. That's definitely a really cool choice, man. I like that because it seems like it hits on all those levels.
Yeah, I mean it's great. It's very much in the festive season, and plus there's that great moment at the end where his mom comes home and she apologizes and they hug, and the John Williams music swells up, and then Kevin realizes that, oh, I missed my family the whole time actually.
All right. It's like I wanted to kill them and be away forever, but actually you're okay for now.
How about you, Sean? What's a movie that you tend to gravitate towards during this season?
I'm going to be honest. The one movie that sticks out to me all the time, and I'm sure if my family's listening, they'll say the same thing. Ron Howard's How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. I mean, this movie. So, like, I used to watch the cartoon one when I was a kid before this one came out, because I think this one came out in, like, it was like 99 or 2000. And I saw it in theaters at, like, my old friend Seth's, like, birthday party. And I remember I just fell in love. It was actually because, like, I just loved Jim Carrey's zaniness. And it just told and expounded on the Grinch so much more. So as a kid, I was just always so, like, intrigued by the Grinch. And I always thought he was, like, such a grouch, but interesting. And so then once they threw in, like, Jim Carrey's zaniness and everything, it always took me. And, like, to this day, my family, when we get together, like me, my brothers, sisters, my brothers and sister, we all, like, just freaking quote the movie the whole entire time. I mean, it's like a staple in the Culp household. Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Yeah, I would say that's, like, totally the movie that also, like, got me into acting, because I remember seeing Jim Carrey, like, go bonkers, and I'm like, dude, I do that all the time. I could do that. So it hit me.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I dig it.
Yeah, it's just such a fun film. Like, I don't know, if you want to watch Jim Carrey just be crazy, because this is, like, in my opinion, the end of his, like, before he kind of became more serious. And I don't know, his films, like, he was huge in the 90s, and then this is kind of like the tail end of it. But it's such a fun, weird movie that I know initially was not very well received. I think this was like the beginning of the end for live action Dr. Seuss movies, because I think it was like The Cat in the Hat, and after that one with Mike Myers, the Mrs. Seuss was like, we're done, never again. So because of that, they don't do any more live action.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, The Cat in the Hat certainly wasn't the best movie ever made, and the animated Grinch movie from a few years ago, I think Benedict Cumberbatch is the voice of the Grinch, isn't all that bad either. But I have to say, I think I do prefer the original. I guess not original, but just I prefer the Jim Carrey version, just because you do get that great physical comedy from him, and he nails down the grumpiness and the introvertedness that is the Grinch.
Yes, he does. I totally agree. And, like, it's just so quotable as a movie. Like, all the time, my family will be like, loathe entirely. All the freaking time. I actually have a shirt that has the 4 o'clock, wallow in self-pity, 4:30 stare into the abyss. The whole thing, man. So, that one kills at parties. But yeah, that was an important movie in my life. and to this day.
I always love that. 5 o'clock, solve world hunger, tell no one.
And as an adult, yes, especially that scene, like his jokes, like as a kid, you're laughing because he's just so like physical. But as an adult, like the things he says where he's like, I hope you have insurance. It's like, oh my God, I totally understand this. So it's just, it hits. It's like one of those comedies where it's like for the kids and the adults.
Yeah, it's like watching a Pixar movie when you're 8 and then getting all of the jokes when you're 22.
Oh my gosh, yes, because they're in there, and that's how you know it's a good Disney Pixar movie if they like have it on both fronts. What's another one for you? Did you have two?
Yeah, I had two. I mean, I thought about inserting Die Hard into this conversation, but this would have been like an hour-long episode and me trying to shoehorn all of the Christmas symbolism that is in Die Hard, but that's for another episode. But I'm going to go with National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, that I have not seen. Is it good?
Oh, it's probably my favorite Christmas movie because for me, like, I get it. Like, there have been many points in my life where it's felt like this movie. Like you put so much pressure on yourself to like put the perfect Christmas together, and I'm experiencing that now. Like I live in my own home with my beloved now for the first time ever, and we're hosting our very first holiday very soon. We're having my family come over for Christmas Eve, and I will admit it's an entirely nerve-wracking experience because you have to plan a menu, you have to get gifts, you have to make sure that the apartment's clean and not smelling like cat dander. And, like, I get this. Like, it's hustle and bustle, and there's so much pressure that Clark puts on himself in the movie. Like, he wants all the twinkle lights outside. He's dealing with pressure from work, whether or not he gets his bonus. He has his overbearing family. Like, it just hits on all of the notes for me. And to top it off, like, it is hysterical. Like, I laugh no matter how many times I've seen this movie. I will always laugh at it. Like the scene where Clark is shooting down a hill on a sled that's been oiled up because he wants an old-fashioned, sledding time, or the turkey turns out to be too dry because he wanted an old-fashioned Christmas dinner, or his tree goes up in smoke because he wanted his smoking uncle over to have an old-fashioned family Christmas. It just hits on every single note for me.
That sounds dope. Is that like an 80s film?
It came out in 89. So it was written by John Hughes. And if you don't know John Hughes, he's probably one of the most influential filmmakers of all time. And this was originally going to be directed by Chris Columbus, who would actually end up directing Home Alone. But Chevy Chase was in the throes of his whole cocaine egomaniacal phase, so he had him fired from the set. But it's there's a great cast in it. It's obviously Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Johnny Galecki, who would grow up to pretend to be funny on The Big Bang Theory. Juliette Lewis is in it too. I mean, it's an amazing cast, and they're all so funny. Everyone's got their hilarious moments, and of course, this is a movie I quote all the time with my beloved and my sister and my whole family. Like, this is the one movie that we all for sure watch during the holidays.
Rock on. I like that. You know what? I will have to check it out now because I feel like there's been a couple. Has there been a bunch of National Lampoon films like back in the day?
Yeah, it started off with the original Vacation movie in 1983. And that was a huge success. And then they did European Vacation, and then Christmas Vacation, and then they did Vegas Vacation in the late 90s, which really kind of derailed the franchise. And then Christmas Vacation even got a direct-to-video sequel without the involvement of Chevy Chase in the early 2000s. And then they tried rebooting it a few years ago, and that movie was not great.
Doo-doo stew.
Doo-doo stew. Yeah, I would say the original Vacation and this one are certainly like the pillars of the Vacation franchise.
All right, I gotta check it out. I have to, because I've never watched those, but it sounds like it's classic 80s comedy. And Chevy Chase, from back in the day, he was the man. So, yeah, I'm down to check those out.
Oh yeah, definitely watch it. How about you? Do you have another Christmas movie, or
So,
even a tradition that you latch onto this season?
even a tradition. So it is a weird tradition. It's I usually in the winter months, like Christmas, I'll watch the old school Batmans with Michael Keaton, like Batman and Batman Returns. I don't know why. It's just like I feel like because those films are like almost holiday-esque, especially Returns, that's like one of those where you could almost very much like Die Hard say it's a Christmas film. But I love those movies because much like how the Grinch, got me into like interested in acting and all that. Batman, that was just kind of one of a staple of like my childhood. I just love that. It like reminds me of chilling with my dad on like Christmas and with my like cousins and everything at family parties and just watching Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson face off. Or in the second one, Michelle Pfeiffer, Danny DeVito in his penguin costume, and Christopher Walken throwing women out of buildings. So those movies just, to me, they're just part of I don't know, it's a weird part of the holiday spirit, because they're Tim Burton directed. So that also is kind of interesting because he's such a visionary, but very well acted, interesting, got me into the character of Batman, which I ended up buying a bunch of comics and kind of fueled that superhero love of mine. So I love those movies, and that's like my tradition to watch them in the winter months.
Well, I can certainly like get behind that. Like I love the idea of watching like non-traditional movies at Christmas time. Like you're absolutely right. Batman Returns, I think, is even set like at Christmas or Christmas Eve or something. Yeah. And like I love those movies that like center on a family but don't exactly involve like a holiday. Like Knives Out is a great example that comes to mind. Like if you want to feel better about your dysfunctional family, you could always watch another one. I mean, and there's always that argument, like especially for a film like Die Hard, like, oh, it's just an action movie that's set at Christmas. Like, so is Lethal Weapon, but you still get Christmas stuff out of it, I guess.
Exactly. And I feel like with, that kind of, it ups the ante. It makes the film more exciting, because it's like Jingle All the Way, we got to save my family from dying from the Russian mobster and bring the presents home in time.
Oh, man.
But I like those too, so it kind of, I feel that. But yeah, definitely. Those are probably my like two big things that I always do in the holidays. And yeah, inadvertently. It's kind of unconscious, to be honest, because I don't even like think about it anymore. It's like my body knows that it's holiday season, so it's like, all right, we're going to roll this out.
I mean, you don't need much of an excuse to rewatch the Tim Burton Batman movies. Those are amazing. And yeah, I know I have to twist my beloved's arm to watch the Jim Carrey Grinch version, but man, I would love to rewatch that movie. It's funny. It's so funny.
It's wonderful. You should do it, Chris. But that's my recommendations, and yeah, I stand by it.
And I as well. This was fun.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess, for y'all that are listening, if you have any interesting Christmas movies that you guys like, feel free to write us in, email, comment, like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards on our social media platforms, because we always like to hear from you. Even like tweet at us, because that's always fun and exciting. And you know what? Maybe one day we will rate your film.
Yeah, I will look forward to that day where we have a listener-suggested show.
Likewise, my friend. Well, Chris, it is always a pleasure, my good sir. I hope you have a fantastic holiday season. Definitely am looking forward to finishing up our recording of The Matrix and then the release of Resurrection, which is exciting, huh?
Yeah, lots of exciting episodes coming up for Force-Fed Sci-Fi. A lot of fun, interesting things that we have planned for the show. Obviously, like Sean said, we're going to finish out the Matrix series pretty soon, and then exploring, playing around with the format a bit more in 2022, and we certainly look forward to bringing that.
Definitely, definitely. Well, my good sir, my friend, it has always been a pleasure. I look forward to chatting with you later on later dates. You have a good one, and take care, my good sir.
Take care. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Thank you, thank you. All right, like I said, thank you for stopping in and taking a listen to us for just a brief little bit. If you enjoyed this episode, check us out at forcefedscifi.com. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the streaming platforms, wherever you get your podcast listening in. But thank you for checking us out. Please like, subscribe, and I hope you all have a fantastic holiday season. Forcefed Sci-Fi will be back in the new year, and later on this next couple days we'll release more. So take care, folks. Have a wonderful